Hello and welcome to the Twitcher Life podcast, the show that talks all about birds and bird watching. I am the president of Twitcher Life, Arnold. Today, we're going to test our bird identification skills using one of the most important tools a birder has, their ears. It's amazing what you can learn just from a bird's song or call. I've got a few sounds prepared, so let's see how well we can do. There have been a few podcasts with sound identification before, if you are interested to learn to that as well. This will be the fifth part. Okay, for our first bird, I want you to listen closely to this cheerful, whistling call. If you guessed tufted titmouse, you'd be right. These small, gray, crested birds are famous for that clear song. They are very active backyard birds, easy to spot with their pointed crests, black foreheads, and peach-colored flanks that peek out beneath their wings. You'll often hear them shouting their loud, repeating tunes from high branches as they scout for seeds or insects. And they are famously bold, often hopping down to look around bird feeders or even fight people who get too close. Because they don't migrate, tufted titmice stay around all year long, which makes one of the most reliable and recognizable voices in many backyards, no matter the season. They are also close relatives of chickadees, and like their cousins, they'll often join mixed flocks in winter, foraging together with nuthatches and woodpeckers as they search tree bark for hidden insects. Alright, let's try another one. Be prepared because the next wetland resident has a loud, chaotic, and a very weird voice. That sound can be a little scary if you hear it coming out of a swamp. It is a messy, bubbling mix of loud cackles, chicken-like clucks, and weird grunts that seem to confuse people because they don't have any real rhythm. Want a hint? This bird has a dark, duck-like member of a rail family that swims through freshwater marshes and is easily recognized by its bright red bill and forehead, which stands out sharply against its gray body and green wings. Did that help? The sound you heard was from a common gallinae. These birds are sometimes called swamp chickens because of their chicken-like appearance and behavior, including the way they bob their heads forward and back as they swim. They have incredibly long toes that act like snowshoes, helping them walk right on top of floating lily pads and other aquatic plants without sinking. If you're near a pond, their laughing cackle is one of the most iconic sounds of the marsh, and once you learn it, you'll never mistake it for anything else again. Now for a third bird. This next sound is incredibly loud, sharp, and dramatic. If you said a peacock, you correctly answered it. Fun fact, peacock refers to only the males of the Indian peafowl species, which are famous the world for their huge green and blue tail trains covered in eye-like spots. But they are just as famous for their loud screech. These large birds are highly social and use these powerful screams to claim territory, warn of danger, or call out to a potential mate during the breeding season. Hearing one echo through a park or a garden is a sound you'll never forget, especially if you aren't expecting it. Interestingly, the females, called peahens, are much duller in color, with soft brown and gray feathers that help them stay hidden while nesting, since all the flashy beauty in males exists mainly to impress a mate rather to blend in. Finally, let's try one more. This next one is a gentle and rhythmic sound that sounds like a very sleepy sigh. I think that one might be a bit of a giveaway if you live near dusty roads, farmland, or pine forests. It's soft and repetitive and is much higher in pitch than a noticeably faster than the slower, more mournful call of a mourning dove. That's right, it's the common ground dove. They are tiny doves, barely larger than a sparrow, which makes them one of the most smallest doves you can find in North America. When they take off, their short, rounded wings make a soft rattling sound and show bright red feathers underneath that are hidden while they walk. You often see them walking quickly on dusty roads, bobbing their heads in search of tiny weed seeds, and their calm presence makes them a real satisfaction to spot for anyone patient enough to look closely. Well, that was a fun challenge. It just goes to show how much information you can gather about a bird's identity and lifestyle just by pausing and listening to the air. Next time you're outside, take a moment to stop and listen to the sounds around you. You might be surprised at what you can identify. Hope you listeners like the topic today and will share with other bird lovers. So, with that, we have reached the end of the podcast. If you want to reach us out, follow us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. The channel's name is Twitcher Life. Thank you so much for listening. Peace!